ever experienced the intense thrill of watching a champion chess player in action? Well then, you know that they destroy their competition because they're 3 or 4 or even 10 steps ahead of everyone else. No matter how confident or hopeful their opponent is, if they're even a half step behind the chess master, get ready to hear those magic words. Checkmate. So how many steps ahead are you in your own strategic battle with depression or anxiety? How much planning of your own have you been able to do? Antoine de Saint-Exupéry once said, "A goal without a plan is just a wish." Alan Kay added, "The best way to predict the future is to invent it." Honest question. Can you see healing and happiness in your future? How about the future life you want to be living? Especially if that's hard to answer, what if we spent some time inventing that future now? Or at least your personalized blueprint to get there. We're not talking about some dramatic general plan here. Researchers at Stanford University have been studying what happens when people step back from broad changes to focus instead on smaller, even tiny changes that require less force of will. Dr. B.J. Fogg puts it this way: if you plant a tiny seed in the right spot, it will grow without coaxing. Which means in this case that if we create many tiny habits in our own lives, none of which depend on high levels of motivation, they will combine to lead us in the direction we want to go naturally. There are lots of possible tiny habits we'll be exploring in Lift that might add up to make a difference for you. This includes making your home more of an emotional sanctuary, honing your daily schedule, establishing more nourishing lifestyle practices, and mobilizing friends and other allies for when things get tough. We'll ask you questions about all that. Your answers, combined with anything already making a difference in your life, make up what we call here your wellness plan. An individualized and comprehensive blueprint for your future that would make any architect or engineer proud. It was Dr. Mary Ellen Copeland who first pioneered what she called the Wellness Recovery Action Plan as a powerful tool to move those facing serious mental illness towards deeper levels of recovery. She used this kind of plan in her own life to find remarkable healing after being diagnosed with severe and incurable manic depression and spending 8 years in a mental health institution. Inspired by her work, many others have taken a similar approach to creating comprehensive plans for healing. While there are many helpful workbooks available and a place to develop your wellness plan on the Lyft platform, you could start by simply outlining on a piece of paper all your best ideas. In whatever format you choose, we encourage you to come back to your own wellness plan often, reviewing, polishing, adding any new insights about reaching deeper healing in your life. Like entrepreneurs who keep refining and honing their business plan, this can be an ongoing process until it's just right. So stay open to new ideas, brainstorming, anything and everything that could possibly help. And whenever you come across something that resonates with you, make a note in your wellness plan as a way to not forget it. Otherwise, it just becomes another great idea we liked. Then let it pass. Since everyone's background is obviously different, everyone's plan will also be unique. This is no cookie-cutter, one-size-fits-all plan. Ultimately, we hope you'll follow your gut, your intuition, to determine what's right for you and at what pace and in what order, etc. It can be helpful to divide your plan into short-term and long-term areas, allowing you to keep some plans in reserve for a later date if a particular area of your life feels especially hard to think about changing right now. Done right, most of your wellness plan won't focus exclusively on depression or anxiety. Instead, you'll be reinforcing, building up, and honing the life that is already right under your feet. If this starts to feel overwhelming, step back and remember that the purpose of the wellness plan is exactly the opposite, giving you some security of organizing all the ideas most important to you so you have them at your fingertips. You don't need to change everything all at once, and in fact, you shouldn't try. As one distressed individual was told by a mentor, listen, don't try to figure it all out, just take the next right step. Instead of having to figure it all out or make everything change, the question and task becomes more simple. What do I feel able to do right now? What am I willing to try? Based on your own intuition and your current circumstances, you can then decide your next right step. This is a patient, curious process. One woman who had found lasting healing from anxiety recollected, if we don't get well quickly, we can get really impatient and give up, sort of all or nothing. And it's important to sort of step back and ask, am I willing to work on this piece by piece and ask myself really critical questions along the way? For instance, is this approach helping me work toward a life of balance? Is this helping me understand what's going on with me? And if not, maybe I need to drop that and try something else. Dr. Alice Boyes proposed a self-experiment approach that assumes not all strategies work for everyone, with a focus on testing what's most helpful for you. She adds, context is important too. You may find that some strategies work in some circumstances, but not in others. Whatever answers you find to these questions in your own life can go into your wellness plan. Don't forget, though, while we hope you experience real improvement during your time in Lyft, our deeper aim is to help you lay a foundation for more sustainable healing in the months and years ahead. That's where your wellness plan will really shine. As Victor Hugo once said, each individual should frame life so that at some future hour, fact and dreaming meet. Ironically, sometimes we inadvertently end up framing and living out life in a way that shoots us in the foot. For instance, some of the very things we feel strongly inclined to do when feeling anxious or depressed. Stop working, stop moving, stay inside, avoid people, dwell more on negative things in the past, all can keep us stuck longer. But if we're aware of this, we can not only decrease the length or intensity of a current episode of depression or anxiety, but also potentially be able to ward off future struggles. After facing some serious bouts of depression, one man announced to his loved ones that he knew his recipe for madness. Anytime I overwork so much that I pull overnighters, I know what will happen next. This awareness allowed him to make wise adjustments that protected him from patterns that his experience told him he had unique vulnerability to, similar to someone with heart disease in the family being more careful about red meat. Do you know your own recipe for depression or anxiety? What patterns in your own life have you seen making you vulnerable to these emotional struggles? Based on your best sense of that, let's get to work creating another kind of recipe, a wellness plan that brings together adjustments that will move you in a better direction over time. Can't wait to see what you come up with. Better days are ahead for you. We're excited to see you find that, no matter what kind of chess masters you have to beat to get there.